19-year-old motorcyclist killed in crash along Sun Valley Main Road, St. James. A 19-year-old male motorcyclist was killed in a crash along the Sun Valley Main Road in St. James. He is O'Brien Williams of Hendon in Norwich, St. James. Reports are that about 11:30 p.m., Williams, who was traveling on his bike along the site of affair, failed to come to a complete stop when heading onto the Sun Valley Main Road. He reportedly collided with a white Toyota motor vehicle. Williams and the car driver were rushed to hospital. Williams was pronounced dead while the driver received medical treatment. According to the latest data from the Road Safety Unit, 112 people have been killed on the nation roadways so far this year. $300,000 fined for running over cops' feet. A man who pleaded guilty to running a motor car over a policeman's feet during a traffic stop has been fined $300,000. Jermaine Valentine appeared in the St. James Parish Court before presiding judge Keisha Grant Price last Wednesday to answer to the charge of assault occasioning bodily harm. According to prosecutors, on March 4, police were conducting a traffic stop when they noticed Valentine driving a car with two passengers in the front passenger seat. A cop stopped him and requested his driver's license, but he refused to cooperate. The allegations are that the lawman proceeded in front of the vehicle in order to record the motor vehicle license plate, at which point Valentine drove off, running over the policeman's feet and causing injury. When cautioned, Valentine reportedly told the policeman that his action was as a result of panic, triggered by the fact that he had previously received several other tickets. Due to the injury sustained, the policeman was admitted to hospital for 5 days. During the hearing on Wednesday, Valentine initially refused to admit guilt and instead presented his account of the incident. "Listen to me, sir. You are charged with assault occasioning bodily harm, that you purposely hit down the police officer," Judge Grant Price pointed out to the defendant. "No, I didn't purposely hit him," Valentine said. "We will keep the plea as a not guilty, and the matter will be tried," the judge noted. "You have to make up your mind. You're either guilty for the offense or you're not guilty. If you plead guilty to the offense, you'll be fined today. But if you can't give me an explanation that makes no sense," the judge told the defendant. Valentine then pleaded guilty to the offense and was fined $300,000 or 3 months imprisonment. Cops find AK-47 rifle hidden under zinc in Waterhouse. An AK-47 rifle was found hidden under a zinc sheet in an open lot in Waterhouse, St. Andrews Sunday morning. The weapon was discovered during an intelligence-driven snap raid conducted in the area by members of the St. Andrews South Police Curfew Order Team. Reports reaching reporters are that about 6:45, the raid was carried out along the area at an unoccupied lot covered with heavy vegetation and debris. During the search of the premises, a white knitted bag containing the high-powered rifle and a magazine was found under a piece of zinc covered by vegetation. The prohibited firearm and magazine were transported to the Hunts Bay Police Station pending further investigation. No arrest was made in connection with the seizure. The operation ended incident-free. Samoda outlines new wildlife protection measures after crocodile deaths. Work on infrastructure that will prevent crocodiles from being stuck in the barren sewage ponds at Greater Portmore St. Catherine is to begin on Monday. The infrastructure will be pretty much staircases with surface that the crocodile can navigate, Matty Samoda noted, who is the government minister with responsibility for the environment. He made such statement to reporters after a visit to the pond where 10 crocodiles died from dehydration. For the larger crocodiles, we'll use pallets placed together at particular points around the entire pond. For the smaller ones, it's thin mesh wire that will be able to climb, Samoda explained. Earlier in a video released after the visit, Samoda said the infrastructure will allow for escape routes for the animals should they re-enter into the pond, which are operated by the National Water Commission (NWC). Samoda said that the NWC had taken 3 ponds out of operation. 6 of the crocodiles were found dead in the dry ponds on April 22nd, the day Jamaica joined the world in observing Earth Day. The remainder were found last Thursday when persons visited who are environmental officers after returning to the pond to do a thorough check. Of the 10 crocodiles, 8 were adults, 1 of them pregnant and 2 juveniles. On Thursday, Bonto reported that the animals probably died over a couple of weeks. They were not only starving, they had no water. They were really dehydrated, kind of malnourished, but it would have been the dehydration that would have killed them because there was just no water whatsoever. You can't tell because they all found around the edge of the pond, and you can see their scratch mark and their claws mark were all given to climb, Brown explained. It would have been brutal, very antagonizing, and it wouldn't have been anything instant, he noted. Someone who described the deaths of the animals as heartbreaking also said new monitoring mechanisms are being implemented in partnership with the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA and with Carter Brown to ensure that if animals are even stuck again in these areas, we're able to have them removed very quickly. Additionally, he said the NWC is to present a new maintenance plan for the ponds to the country and specifically to the residents of Portmore because there have been a number of issues over the last year and a half, both with the east and western ponds, and it's obvious that the maintenance has not been kept with the need of the facility. As it relates to Nepal, I've instructed that they do a full, comprehensive, and thorough investigation of all the circumstances that led to the deaths of these animals, and they will proceed unencumbered. We will make the result of this investigation public, will be completely transparent, and will let the chips fall where they may, Samuda noted. I just want to make it abundantly clear that the government will not stand in the way of Nepal doing what the NRCA National Resources and Conservation Agency Act allow, meaning post any investigation, whether this one or any other one, if there's a negligence found, if there are breaches of the NRCA or Wildlife Protection Act, NEPA is clear and free to enforce as the law allows. And if that enforcement ends in prosecution, then no one is above the same, he noted. Under the Wildlife Protection Act, anyone found guilty of capturing or killing crocodiles is liable to have a fine paid of up to 100,000 or 12 months imprisonment.
It's truly a tragic scene. They obviously died in very bad circumstances. Now, there are 3 ponds that the National Water Commission would have taken out of operation. We have looked at the causes and the access points for the animals, and we will be building in the appropriate infrastructure to allow for escape routes for the animals should they ever re-enter. We'll also be putting in place new monitoring mechanisms in partnership with NEPA and indeed with the curator of the Hope Zoo to ensure that if animals are ever stuck again in these areas, we're able to have them removed very quickly. Now, as there's been much made around what the next steps are, NWC will present a new maintenance plan to the country for these ponds and specifically to the citizens of Portmore because there have been a number of issues over the last year and a half, both with the east and western ponds. And it's obvious that the maintenance has not kept pace with the needs of the facility. That's impatient of debate. As it relates to NEPA, I've instructed that they do a full, comprehensive and thorough investigation of all the circumstances that would have led to the death of these animals. And they will proceed unencumbered. We will make the results of any such investigation public. We'll be completely transparent and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Case management for a man accused of breaking into councillor's car. A man accused of breaking into a car belonging to Councillor Graham, Jamaica Labour Party, Springmont Division, and stealing more than US $1,000 was remanded until he appeared in the St. James Parish Court last Wednesday. Charged with simple larceny, Tajay Griffiths appeared before presiding judge Jason Grant Price. According to court record, the incident occurred between March 28 and 29. The allegations are that Graham parked his vehicle outside his residence before retiring to bed. The next morning, he inspected the vehicle and discovered that US $1,200 was missing. The council was later informed by an individual that Griffiths was responsible for entering the vehicle and removing the money, prompting him to report the crime to the Springmont police. When law enforcement officials attempted to arrest Griffiths, he fled, forcing them to pursue him. He was eventually captured, and when cautioned, he reportedly said, "Me know say me do something wrong, bossy. Me I go make you get back the money, bossy. Up a lash party, me spend the money. Me I go make you get it back. Me I go make you get it back." When the defendant was asked to enter a plea on Wednesday, he pleaded not guilty to the charge. Meanwhile, the court clerk indicated that the position was awaiting the eyewitness statement. "Mr. Griffiths, the court will be lenient if, on the first occasion, you are guilty and you plead guilty. If you are not guilty and you continue to plead not guilty, the matter has to be tried. If you are found guilty, straight to prison, the judge told Griffiths, who insisted that he was not guilty. He will remain in custody until May 15, when he is scheduled for a case management hearing. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.